A woman gave birth to a 100-pound giant baby. The couple snuck the baby home in the dark. Soon, the child kept growing. The small house couldn't contain him. Even using the bathroom would burst the door. So, the parents built a giant castle. Because of the boy's unusual size, they never dared to let him go outside. But the boy yearned for the world beyond. One night, he sneaked out wearing lucky clothes. A group of young people was having a party. It was the boy's first time seeing outsiders. He stood there, frozen in place. Suddenly, the blackie had to pee urgently and walked straight towards the boy. Just as he was about to unzip his pants,
oh shit! Hey! Hey!
the girl had a 10-meter boyfriend. On their first date, she jumped into his arms and passionately kissed his face. When the boyfriend took off his pants, the girl was shocked.
That's not gonna work.
Actually, the girl was also different from most people. She was born like a motor at high speed, instantly finishing her mom's breast milk. Even a custom-made giant milk bottle could be emptied in 1 second. In her eyes, everyone around seemed frozen. To live a normal life with her parents, she trained for several years and finally mastered a communication speed that could connect with ordinary people. As she grew up, the girl found a job in a burger joint. With her lightning speed, she could handle the workload of the entire store, all by herself. This is a magic pencil. Anything you draw will appear. Just moments ago, the dude is practicing sketching at home. Suddenly, there was a noise from the wardrobe. The man put down his drawing board and walked over to investigate. An apple was lying inside. The man picked up the apple. Thoughtful, he picked up his pencil again, quickly drew a 10 yuan banknote. He opened the wardrobe. There was a banknote inside, exactly like the real one. The man had a bold idea. He picked up his pencil and started drawing. After finishing the picture, the cabinet door opened by itself. Above the chimneys, massive meatballs emerged. Soon, these meatballs popped up all over the city's buildings. Surprisingly, the meatballs were still breathing, but they didn't attack humans. Since their arrival, the city's greenhouse effect improved a lot. Turns out, these meatballs were a miraculous species, feeding on carbon dioxide. The city could go on with heavy industry without worrying about environmental pollution. As the city produced more carbon dioxide, the meatballs grew bigger, changing from yellow to black. Soon, the black meatballs developed cracks. Their breathing became rapid, but nobody paid much attention to them, until one day, the black meatballs started exploding one after another. After the massive explosions, gigantic plants grew above the buildings. These plants continued to absorb carbon dioxide and posed no threat to humans. Do you think the appearance of this species is good or bad? The meat was put on a conveyor belt. As the meat grinder started churning, the meat filling was successfully made. After some processing, delicious meat patties took shape. Finally, under the chef's cooking, the tasty burgers were delivered into people's mouths. The burger business boomed. Within a month, the boss opened over 100 chain stores. To keep the business running, the factory specifically caught illegal immigrants and injected them with the mysterious liquid. This could accelerate skin aging, making the meat crispy. Their bones would also soften and recombine, further increasing production. One day, Jack pretended to sleep. Taking advantage of the staff's absence, he broke free and ran out. Jack, accidentally entering the factory, discovered his imprisoned friend. Suddenly, the butcher grabbed Jack by the neck. Just as he was about to suffocate, his friend underwent a mutation. In an instant, the friend tore off half of the butcher's face. The butcher lay on the conveyor belt, with the meat grinder rapidly turning. A continuous stream of meat patties was produced. In the end, everyone was rescued. So, would you still dare to eat hamburgers? The golden ball turned into a spider to bite the old man's palm. He endured the intense pain and pulled it out. The spider was covered in blood. Then its claws slowly retracted. But came nighttime, the man felt insanely thirsty. Even drinking a big bottle of water didn't help. When he looked at the bloody raw meat, he realized he craved blood. Resisting the urge, he felt hot all over. Then the wound became very itchy. He pulled out the golden ball again. As its claw sank into his skin, he felt a strange comfort like never before. The next day, he noticed his wrinkles were way less. He looked a lot younger. The golden ball sucked the old man's blood, but he looked completely satisfied. While cleaning his wounds, he noticed the blood oozing out like glue. The wound healed rapidly in a few seconds. Even his appearance became younger. However, the golden ball had strong side effects. When someone had a nosebleed, The old man couldn't control his craving for blood and immediately followed. Seeing the bloodstains on the sink, he was ready to lick them. Suddenly, a guy walked out of the bathroom. The old man pretended nothing happened. When the guy saw the bloodstains, he cleaned them directly. The old man looked disappointed. Soon, he spotted a drop of blood on the floor, then crawled down to lick it. Suddenly, another guy appeared, kicking the old man unconscious. Just now, Julia found a wounded elf. As she carried it away, she noticed a creepy creature staring at her by the fence. Julia put it in the warehouse, fed it every day, and took care of it diligently. Passing by, Jack saw the scene. Frightened, he immediately drove to the fence and called James to quickly leave the forest. Suddenly, a monster knocked down James, then dragged him into the depths of the forest. Jack anxiously shouted for James but received no response. Suddenly, stuff fell from the sky. Jack cautiously approached, only to discover James's head. Jack returned to the warehouse, grabbed the elf, and put it in a bag. At the entrance of the forest, Jack released the elf. Do you know who he was talking to? Underneath the dirt seemed to hide something. Julia was scared. Monsters started popping up from the ground. Julia immediately got up and ran. Turns out, not long ago, the elf she brought home was a monster's child. So, she was being hunted by monsters. Julia hid in an abandoned factory. Just as she was passing through an obstacle, a monster grabbed her leg and kept dragging her back. Julia accidentally turned on a machine switch. The chainsaw killed the monster. She ran into the forest and got lost. Suddenly, she spotted the elf hiding in the tree. Julia asked for help. The elf jumped down, leading her away. Soon, Julia saw her mom, but her mom got scared when she saw the monster, grabbing dirt to shoo it away. The elf got scared and ran off. Finally, Julia and her family left the island. However, the elf appeared under the car, revealing its fierce fangs. This 300-pound giant baby was a picky eater. He hated eating peas.
I hate pee.
The nanny put down the spoon, but the giant baby got mad. The nanny had to coax him to eat. Suddenly, the giant baby spat on her face. After finishing the meal, the giant baby, covered in poop and pee, hid behind the door. He grabbed the nanny's neck, ordering her with a hammer to change his diaper immediately. The nanny was about to throw up from the smell. Watching the giant baby enjoying himself, the nanny couldn't take it anymore, and she slapped the diaper onto his face. The nanny quickly escaped, but the giant baby caught her. He breaks the woman's ankle and threatens her to play hide and seek together. The woman, holding a knife, hides under the table, waiting for the giant baby. When he comes closer, the woman cuts off his ankle. Do you think she can successfully escape? The girl just put in some eye drops. When she opened her eyes, she saw the whole class staring at her, thinking something was on her face. She quickly checked with her camera, only to find her classmates behind her also staring. Not saying a word, scared, she ran out of the classroom. Even outside, classmates were still staring. She asked a boy why he kept staring at her, but strangely, he said he wasn't looking at her at all. Frightened, she left the school, but the pedestrians on the street were more bizarre. A man turned his head to look at her, but he could avoid people in front of him. Two girls were taking selfies, but they were looking at her. They were all doing their own things, while keeping their eyes on the girl. Back at home, the girl turned on the TV. Even the TV couple turned their heads and stared at her.